What's up, sports fans, wrestling fans, monster truck fans, Madusa fans? Big Red here.
Big Red fans.
Big Red fans. Nebraska kicks off Saturday, 3:30. The Dylan Raiola era has begun, Madusa.
Whatever. Vikings won their preseason game, so there you have it.
And lost their quarterback. We'll talk about it in a second.
Oh, don't even fucking get me started on that fucking brand new quarterback. Oh my God.
So that is the woman king, Madusa. She is, as you guys might imagine, a little bit exhausted from all of the travel that she's been doing, which I guess, Madusa, the big event for you this year, Cauliflower Alley Club, Las Vegas, Nevada, Kurt Angle, Sting, who made an appearance in London after Cauliflower Alley Club.
I know. Wow.
Talk about travel from Vegas to London to do the run-in for Darby Allin at All In.
How fucking cool is that? Damn.
That was awesome. That was
I want to do that. How come Sting gets to be 60? What is he, 67, 65?
65, yeah.
65, 67 years old. Looks amazing, by the way. He's still a good-looking guy like he was in the younger years. Very polite, just gentle man, considerate, and he gets to live out the last of his dreams. Why can't I do that at like 60 years old and do the next 5 years at fucking AEW or WWE?
Well, do you really want it to be AEW? Don't answer that. I know it's Ask Medusa anything, but don't answer that question. Book Deuce, folks, because we're going to tell you what she did. First, talk to us about West Virginia, Madusa, your appearance, what was going on in West Virginia prior to the Vegas trip.
Okay, so every year is a Cauliflower Alley Club, and this year was the 58th annual Cauliflower. And so the hubby and I usually go out, a week, maybe Thursday, and then we do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the events are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So this year I had an appearance in West Virginia at ASW. Great promoter, by the way. Great people. Fans were amazing. I was with Dave Faustino, with Married with Children, and he could only do 2 hours. So we were like an hour out, and the guy that came and picked us up had to drive all the way out there, pick us up, and lo and behold, he was like a run-in referee, and I was a manager for the women's champion. So we were both supposed to be like main event. So we got there, just like regular wrestling. I understood the assignment, but apparently his management team didn't really understand their contract or wrestling or how it works. So you get there early, it's before it even starts, and we were supposed to sign autographs, and then you sit there until your gig, right? Well, signing autographs was already 2 hours, and that's all they allowed for his contract. And he said, I got to go. I'm like, wait, what? Wait a minute. Look, I got a great manager, but I know how this fucking rolls, and I get paid good money, and I'm sure he got paid good money. And I'm like, oh man. So they had to take the main event and shove it all the way down to first or second match. And then we had to haul ass. So he actually stayed an extra hour beyond his 2-hour contract. I'm like, God, to be like a childhood movie star and then, be able to demand shit like that and then just go on an hourly thing and still get your money. To me, I don't know. To me, I'm used to the wrestling setting and know what it takes. So, I mean, David was cool, by the way. He was, he's in, what do you call it? Like rehab. He's been clean for a good year now. And so he's doing really well, but he's a funny fuck. He's funny. He's just a good guy. And yeah, but man, it was kind of a bummer. And then I flew straight from West Virginia, flew all the way back to Tampa. The husband met me with our dog at the airport, stood around for an hour waiting for them. I had to jump back on a fucking airplane. Delta, by the way, bitches. That's to you, Red. And that's right. And then I had to get on and fly all the way to fucking to Vegas. So for the 58th Cauliflower Alley. And I mean, I enjoy working for the CAC. It's great. It's for a great cause, and it's, it's a full circle, and it goes back to pro wrestlers, and for wrestlers in need that need help, medically, anything. It's just a huge, wonderful, benevolent fund. So, as well. So, I love working with them and organizing. I work on the board. Um, just learning a lot and just trying to implement new things, new ways, new blood, you know what I mean? And just trying to make it more fan interaction, more fan friendly. And just make it more of a fun field, couple days than just a dinner and awards. So hopefully there'll be new, you know, just new things in the future. And if you're not sure what the Cauliflower Alley Club is, just go to caulifloweralleyclub.org and check us out on the website.
So one of the founders of One True Sport, Mr. Dominic D'Angelo, was there, and he comments Madusa, Joe Dombrowski, and Jimmy Hart were such good MCs. So I got to see some of the photos that were taken.
God, I didn't. Where's the photos, Dominic? What the fuck?
Sorry, Dom. I did not mean to get heat.
Dom, where's the photos? I don't have any on my phone. There's no email. There's no love. There's no text.
Well, we can post. I know he's posted several of them. The ones he was able to get. He is.
I just want the ones of me in my hot dress. So
I will say he was busy, and you look great. I saw Kurt Angle on stage with you. Obviously, we talked. The Dudleys were there. Our man Sting was there. Like you said, he accepts the award for being recognized as both a pop culture icon and a wrestler. I forget the name of it. I apologize. And then he hauls ass to London, and does the run in the semi-main event of All In. And they had a hard out at 10 o'clock, so they cut that match. So that good on them for getting all that in. No pun intended. A lot of people here today. David VB, how we doing? Eddie Prather's here, wants to know. He's got a question. We'll get to it, Eddie. Mike says hello. Liam says good evening. CB early in the chat said, "What's up, Madusa? Hope you're feeling good today."
I am.
Other than tired in a Delta million-mile sky flyer or whatever it is,
I'm almost 2 million miles.
2 million. Now,
yes.
Let me ask you this, because this is ask Deuce anything. So I joke with you about Delta just because they were so bad in Vegas for me. But do you have that many miles on just Delta, or do you fly United and American and Southwest? Do you fly anything, or is it always Delta?
I have I'm just about at 2 million just on Delta. And then I do have lots of points on Southwest, and American. I haven't flown American like in a year. So all the points I had on there, I just got an email and those fuckers took it. Because you haven't been active, we're just going to, I'm like, you know what? Screw you. That's why I don't even fly American. Anyway,
that's no good. I do have a question from Liam Evans. He's one of our traveling champions here at One True Sport. He says, "Evening, Madusa, my buddy Andrew. Quick question: when are we getting a Madusa trucker cap on One True Sport merch store?"
I feel you, brother.
Madusa,
do you have my T-shirt? They're available.
I do have the T-shirt. It says Madusa Trailblazer 1984 on the front. And on the back, of course, it says, "Nice to meet you. Don't fuck with me. Thank you, Paul Heyman."
Yes. Thank you,
and
Paul.
that is available only at One True Sport. Madusa approved, Dominic D'Angelo created. So Dom is a big fan of hats. Maybe we do a Paving the Way hat. Trash talk is kind of your thing, on
I got trash talk 5-minute
She's got a trash talk trucker hat, as do I, but I found that I play with the damn thing. So
you play with, excuse me,
my big four. Not only that particular thing, not yet anyway. It's still early, but I kept adjusting the stupid hat, so I had Yeah, I had to take it off.
I'm gonna staple it to your head. What the hell?
You could. But no, that's all very good. Cauliflower Alley Club, I know, is a passion.
You gotta come. You gotta come one of these
You're
years,
on the board next year. Next year. Let's plan
it.
it.
Maybe. Let's see how it goes.
I would say if we planned it that far in advance, we could do it.
Yeah, we'll have a live remote, be live on YouTube.
I don't know if they'd want us. It'd be scary.
Fuck yeah, they would. We can do we'll do like a 12-hour stream.
Oh God. Be like a telethon or whatever.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, God knows both of us can do it because it's the ADD club here, even though it is what is it? ADA, Ask Deuce Anything tonight. Guys, load up the questions with chat while Madusa and myself catch up. One thing I did want to ask you is we're talking about the Cauliflower Alley Club. We're talking about Sting. Did you happen to see any of All In this weekend, or was it just so crazy and busy you didn't catch any of AEW's pay-per-view? And if you didn't, it's okay.
I didn't, I mean, thank God for X, because that's how I get all my news, right? And I mean, I got, some tidbits and some, up-to-date stuff on there, but the only thing that I read was that everyone was disappointed in fucking Mercedes' match. Like, what was so wrong with it? I mean, I don't know. Everyone said it was the shits. Why?
So my opinion is that they both just are not good dance partners.
Who? Her and
Britt Baker.
Britt Baker. Oh God.
Several of our colleagues on this channel, on One True Sport, believe that this one fell on Britt. She was rusty. She was sloppy. Hey, chat, tell us what y'all think if you saw it, please. And I mean that, we want you to weigh in.
Do we have any clips of it or anything?
We can't get away with it. It's YouTube. We can't get away with playing clips, but I can send you some.
You can show pictures.
I can show pictures, but I can't show
and
video.
Then you can show them real fast, so it looks like
it's like the old animation that Disney used to
like you just do the book.
Yeah. Well, we're not trying that gimmick because then they'll just cancel us all together on YouTube, and it won't even be Paul Bromwell that does it. It'll be YouTube itself. But I think the match was acceptable. If I had to grade it, I would say it was probably a C match. They stuck the women's title match number 2 on the show. So all that heat, Mariah May, Toni Storm, went on second after the car crash ladders match.
Wait a minute. They were second?
They went on second. Yes, ma'am.
And Mercedes and Britt went on later?
Went on, toward the top of the show. Yes, ma'am.
Why? It should have been vice versa.
Well, I agree with that. And I don't know why. There are several people that think they could have swapped the order. The biggest criticism I've seen about the Mercedes and Britt Baker thing.
No, fucking no. No,
the biggest
fucking thing should have been swapped.
Yeah,
Britt and Mercedes should have been fucking second, and those other two, because of their long angle and finishing what they're doing, should have been main, second, semi-main, whatever.
Yeah. So it was like fourth from the top, but it was not a great match. And I get Motown Slim says it was all on Britt. Eddie says there's bad chemistry between the two.
But that's all hearsay. You all fucking don't know that. What are you in the locker room listening?
So well, no, I don't
know facts.
In the ring, there's bad chemistry. Now that was very visible. I would agree with that comment, Madusa. These two are not good dance partners.
Okay. So they're saying that it was in-ring chemistry.
Chemistry.
And you have that sometimes. You have two people that cannot just get it together. But for whatever reason, they've been egging this on for a while, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, they paid Mercedes. Britt is she was there at the beginning. So logically, you would think it would make sense. The one thing I will send you, and I'll send you a clip because I want your unfiltered opinion on it, is that Mercedes missed the finish again.
Can you send it to me right now? And I'm going to look at it while we're fucking talking.
I cannot. Well, I might be able to find it, but
okay.
Let me.
I'll talk and you look. Okay, so I really love the whole Tony and what's her name, Mariah
May. Yes,
Mariah May. I love that whole angle. Yeah, and they should have been semi-main event or whatever. And I just it's been almost a year of great writing. And I know they were probably paralleling it with uh one of the old movies and one of my favorite movies. And so I thought they did a great job. I thought social media was great on that whole thing. Whoever did the vignettes was great. I just fuck yeah, that's what it should be like with the women's storylines. I hate just saying women. It should be that way with men and women. It should be that way in pro wrestling on everybody's fucking storyline. There should be some great social media, great bites, great promoting, great, TV. And whatever the longevity of it is, however they're planning for it, like when you write a script, okay, this one's only going to be 6 months, this one's going to be a year, this one can be, a bloodline type of situation. And then you go from there and write it in, as you continue, someone gets hurt, someone's written in for a while, do whatever. That's what makes the whole bloodline storyline great, because you have so many people involved in that if something happens, you could just bounce to another person like they have, or someone gets a DUI, they bounce to the other person, you know. So, but the thing with Sadie and Britt, Britt was gone for a long time. We were both saying that I was hoping that she I hope she put in her work and her time to come back, to be back up on top. I mean, for fuck's sake, when you can't even, work hard enough to be back on that top spot and then failed tremendously like that. I mean, it says a lot about where you're at in your career. Just a lot of self-checking. Now, again, I will stick with this, and y'all can fucking hate me if you want, but my opinion, Mercedes has some great fucking, the whole fucking tag is CEO, money, the whole fucking marketing, that whole look, her not giving a shit. You know what I mean? Has something great there. I don't, it's all about marketing, let me throw this at you guys. So who likes her whole, let's just think character. Let's not talk about her wrestling. Mercedes character. Let's talk about the marketing, the character, the fucking, the whole steps she took to get there. Let's just leave personal shit out of the equation. And what do you think? Let's not talk about her talking or, her speech or her promos. Let's talk about the gimmick herself. Good or bad? I mean, good or bad? I think she has a great character.
Thank you. For me, and I'll start it off, and we'll let our audience watch as well. For me, it was her character. I mean, she embraces it. She knows what she's about.
Exactly. Thank you. So we're not talking about promo. We're not talking about wrestling. We're talking about character and knowing who the fuck you are and identifying that and just living it, right? So I think it's very good. It's very good. All right. So now you put other things in the equation, promo, speaking, wrestling, and then it just kind of, right? So here's the thing. Hulk Hogan. It's the same fucking shit. He fucking couldn't wrestle. He fucking really couldn't cut a promo until later. And my brother, take your vitamins, blah, 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 right? And I love Terry. But guys, he got over. The company was behind him and pushed him like a motherfucker. What's the difference? What's the difference? Give her time building the character, more, or, maybe promos might get better, or maybe her wrestling was better than fucking Hulk Hogan and his character, right? Too cartoonish. Yeah. See, y'all, there isn't any difference. They're both the same. Their character, they're living their fucking character, period. And so did Savage. Savage could cut a promo. Savage could wrestle. right? So you had a little more extra with Savage. It just Hogan and Mercedes. It's that power of that character that's going to get them over. I will tell you this: she pisses you all off for a reason. If you say, well, it's because of her promos, she can't speak or she can't wrestle, then okay. But her fucking attitude and her character is what really makes you mad. Mr. Hogan.
You put me on the spot, ma'am, so now I can't find it. But yeah, Monstar Entertainment says Mr. Hogan has 7 moves. He might have 4. 3 big punches, big boot, leg drop, call it a day. Carries in the back, drinking beer.
Mercedes got more than that. So I'm just saying about the same. If you guys really look at it, man and woman. So, I mean, she's the top of the AEW threshold, money-wise, whatever, let's say. And then so was Hogan. And so when Hogan got his, he made sure and blocked fucking situations and people so that it wouldn't get in his way. And maybe that's what's happening. Maybe Britt's being moved around and Mercedes carrying that fucking gold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, you know, that's the thing is the beauty of all this is it's subjective. I don't like either of them. I think that the Mariah May Toni Storm match was far superior to this.
And why they moved it, I have no fucking clue. And the only thing I can think of is Mercedes may have thought that they should have been, you know, or Britt, you know, more main event than, or who knows?
Now that we got you fired up, this was the order of the matches. 4-way trios match, trios title. Christian Cage and his group versus Pac, Cesaro, and Yuta versus Billy Gunn's sons and Juice Robinson, fantastic group, the Bang Bang Gang, versus help me out, guys. I just lost it. It really doesn't matter. It's insignificant, unfortunately, but it was the Bang Bang Gang. Oh, House of Black. Actually, it wasn't insignificant. I apologize because those guys are great. So this is a car wreck, Madusa. You got 12 people in this match to start the show. Then they put Tony and Mariah on. And Mariah, at one point, Tony has the chance to spike Mariah in the face. Mariah, let me back up. Mariah starts this match by slapping her own mother in the face. So there's that character you're talking about, and all.
Okay, wait a minute. So knowing the order of the matches, which I did not know. So you're saying the first match was a disaster?
I call it a train wreck because it was a 12-person ladder match for the trios titles.
And that's how they again, if they knew, whoever was booking all this knew that, you know, that would probably be a shit show. They needed a good fucking match after that to bring people up, not another Mercedes and fucking Britt match.
Well, the news, the news that hurts afterwards is they put Jericho and Hook third.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Was that any good?
We did get to see Taz choke out Brian Keith in the slowest Taz mission of all time and help Hook win the match. But I hope it was over. Dominic says it was a fun opener to set the tone and keep the excitement. Settle down, Dom. This is our show. Settle down over there. It was.
What is he? Okay, so he loved the first match.
Apparently, he liked the first match. That's our man.
Dominic should have been in the fucking ladder match.
You heard it here, Dom. You should have been in the ladder match, my man. But now he's laughing. He thinks that's great. But then they put Jericho, and then of course you had the 3-way tag match with the Bucks, the Acclaimed, and FTR. So it really kind of, I think they could have saved that match. But anyway, the Mariah May match, the psychology here, Deuce.
Yes.
We'll move on to Sid because I know you've got a couple comments about Sid, and some of your fans have asked about him. The Mariah May Toni Storm match. At one point, Toni Storm has the opportunity to spike her in the head with the heel. Won't do it. Mariah takes advantage, finishes, gets the title win. Toni Storm's had the title largely for a year and a half, with the exception of where she dropped it to Saraya.
Why was that, do you think?
Because it was Saraya, and she was a toy. She's on her way out the door. And I've got one other women's thing on this when we get to this.
Let's get back to that too, real
psychologically, quick. Do you like that Tony was unable to pull the trigger? Does this add to anything? Does it take away? What do you think on that? From where she wouldn't use the shoe.
When she wouldn't use the shoe.
She wouldn't use the shoe. She wouldn't bring herself to use the shoe, and it gave Mariah May an opening to win the title.
Well, there could be a lead to that into something. Maybe Tony is converting back into an old Tony or something. I don't know. And maybe it's a sign of something, right? But there's always that unknown. So keeping that, why didn't she do it? What made her do that? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. That's a fair statement. As we talked about, and everybody knows on this show, Sid Udy, Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Psycho Sid, the master and ruler of the world, as he called himself, passed away yesterday, unfortunately, due to cancer. We know you had the opportunity to come across Sid. We were talking before we went live. Obviously, he was a big part of Team Savage when he came back in '99 as Macho's heater and enforcer. Tell us anything you'd like to share about Sid and the man and the wrestler and the entertainer.
So I really got to know Sid in WCW, basically there. And he was another guy that was very kind and quiet, kept to him, himself. Hard to read at times, but never one of those, not one of those guys that I saw that would go off at any moment because he was raging, kind of like, though you knew that was going to happen with a Steiner, right? So, but with him, he was like this enforcer, like he would walk into a fucking room, you knew looking at him, he could like rip off someone's head and shit down their throat, their neck or whatever. He was like a badass guy just walking into the room having that aura. And so I enjoyed, I didn't understand. I mean, I knew that, adding somebody to our group and having Sid as the enforcer was kind of cool, but it was right towards the end, right, of the whole demise, WCW and whatnot. And I felt like there was a lot of pressure happening at the end. And for Sid, Sid got signed, he got some good money. And I felt like he was starting to be pushed in things that was beyond what he would do. And then it came to that point where I think he went off the top rope or second rope and he jumped and he fucking broke his leg. And it was just a whole weird thing. I felt like he was pushed into a situation that was, to do that. I don't know. I don't know if he's ever said anything like that in an interview. I don't know, but just being around and working, I mean, that's just not like something Sid would do, or needed to do. I mean, second rope, I don't know. Anyway, but he was very, very cool. And he was like a protective type of guy. So yeah.
Well, and I got to see several, obviously, tributes to him. Arn, obviously, he and Sid had their issues. We don't talk about it on the Arn show. I'm the research guy, and he refuses.
Oh, you mean when they were going to stab?
He refuses to talk about the stabbing incident because families were involved. People could have died, and he takes it very, very seriously. And it's the one thing, if there is one, he regrets in his life. But the one thing he said about Sid tonight was, you talk about probably the best body in professional wrestling, the look. He just looked like
he just walked out. Yeah. You just walked out and you just went, whoa.
And you couldn't take your eyes off it. He was tan, he was jacked. I mean, he was
tall too. He was a tall dude.
He was a legit 6'9", wasn't he? Like
I think he was up there. He was tall. Like, I mean, he could stand on the ground, and I think the fucking top of the ropes would come to his waist. I mean, he was that tall.
Did you ever hear the story of him turning down being the next Hulk Hogan?
No.
So in '92, Vince is looking for his Hulk Hogan replacement. He realizes that Hulk is, you know, been running wild since January of '84, and he needs to find a replacement. And he pitches to Sid to be a babyface and to be the face of WWE or WWF. And this is, of
Was
course,
it Nails there then, though?
Nails was there in the summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
Wolcott, Kevin Wolcott. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Talk about a blast from the past, because he was an
Uh,
AWA guy.
yeah.
And I don't know how the hell he was ever a babyface, but that's a topic for another day. But Sid was pitched
He
by
was funny. Fucking Nails was funny.
Nails was
He
funny.
was
You're the only
funny.
person that would ever say that.
No, he was funny. I got him though. I remember AWA, right? He reminded me sort of like he'd be like this talking, you know, he's fucking just like this. He reminds me of Jesse Ventura in a way.
Interesting comparison. So
I don't know about the cognitive, you know, acuity.
Yeah. To finish the Sid story, he turned down Vince and ends up leaving WWF and goes back to WCW. And of course, he gets this reputation of always being softball season and that sort of thing. But the man main evented 2 WrestleManias. I mean, he evented 92. He main evented against Hulk at the Hoosier Dome. He main evented against Undertaker in Chicago in 1997. So it's not like he was without skill or ability or talent.
Right.
Obviously was a foil to Sting in 92. And then, of course, the latter days in 99 became the Millennium Man, as his gimmick became. But I didn't know if you'd ever heard that, where Vince actually pitched Sid Vicious to become the next face of WWF, and Sid turned it down.
But Terry stopped that.
Probably.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Well, Terry, as you call him, Hulk, was very protective of everything that was about Hulk. So,
well, I am too about myself. Hey, kudos to it, but I would never do anything to hurt anybody, though, you know.
Well, we don't want to hurt anybody, so we want to get to what we advertised, and that's Ask Deuce Anything.
No, that's what you advertised. That's not what I advertised, so I don't got to do shit.
That's what I advertised, and you're the star of the show, and you're compelled.
Doesn't mean I'm going to answer.
No. You're compelled to answer these questions, ma'am. But no, seriously, we guys, load the questions up. Let's do follow-ups. Let's do it. Let's get it going. If you feel so inclined, please use the super chat. It helps us out. It also makes sure that it goes to the top. Madusa is a 40-year veteran of the business. She does get paid for appearances.
I'm only 42.
And she is here for our entertainment tonight, so we thank her for that for sure.
And that's not pull entertainment. That's just
oh my God, would you stop? Up first is the man who did the ad for you on your new shirt, some 90s guy. If you could choose, would you rather be a pioneer of women's wrestling like you are, or have the luxuries of the pioneers the women wrestlers today have? So would you rather be first, or would you rather enjoy what you helped them get?
Well, okay. So define the luxuries of the pioneers of the women today.
Well, I would say 7-figure contracts, travel, creative control in some aspects, depending on who it is, the ability to wed. How about having a family and children? All of those things.
Well, I mean, that's a great question, because it's not about being first. It's unfortunate that I had to pave the way, meaning that without the luxuries of today. So I am, you know, I'm honored that I got to do what I did, of course, the old cliche, and I'm happy that I was there and I had my job and all that other happy bullshit. But again, being in a time that it had zero luxuries for women, zero. And we kept at it. So I think the luxury would be that we built the opportunities to have that luxury today. And I, of course, would love to have the luxuries of women today that we built to make it possible, and the women before me to make it possible. And who wouldn't? You'd be foolish if you'd say, no, I just wanted to be that paver and not have, anything. People are happy. Oh, yes, I'm glad what I did. And I'm just fortunate that I got to do it. Well, okay, that's great, but none of them could pay their fucking bills. You know what I'm saying? So, um, it is what it is, of course. So, what I say to that is instead of, walking around with your head up your ass and holding grudges and being pissed off at the world or the fucking wrestling world, you work to make it better and continuously and fight for the past, meaning that um we all love history and nostalgia and and all this stuff and what made it today. Whatever is today, there was a past to make it today, correct? So, and then you have this good thing called, as they do in the NFL, called like a reparations of what they do for the people in the past. And I think that wrestling needs to get off their fucking ass and become a union for that to make it possible. So the NFL, the Players Association Union, does just that. So any of the players that work for the NFL, let's say like anyone that worked for WWE, they would get a quarterly check for the rest of their life, like the NFL Players Association gives any of their players if they've wrestled, in a WrestleMania, let's say, or if they've worked for WWE. So I know like a basic would be this way you wouldn't have any. Let's go back to this. So let's say every quarter it'd be a basic $10,000 every quarter. So that's like $40,000. So you're going to tell me that that is going to help a lot of the people that gave their blood, sweat, and pave the way for the people that are making millions. And it's a rotation, and it would happen for everybody, right? It's kind of like putting in a fund and it's giving back. And why that doesn't happen, I don't know. The NFL Players Association does it, and I do not understand why it doesn't fucking doing it for wrestling. And I'm sure all the others have their own associations. I don't know for sure, but I know NFL does. Um, and I just anybody that would say no to that, I'd have to question their own reasoning. Like, why don't you think that would be a great idea? Period. So yeah, I think that's how you get by with that. Like feeling, yeah, it was great back then. Yeah, I paved the way. Great. But I sure would like to be making what they're fucking making today. Absolutely. You can't hate the talent for Christ's sake, because we're the ones that made it possible for them to do that. Isn't that what this was all about, to make it better? So you can't fucking hate them for it. It's the association and what they're doing with it. They want to keep these legends under contract like myself. Well, if we're under contract, then you should give back, right? Instead of just keep them under fucking contract and not doing anything. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to solve this, and I've got ideas.
It's a fantastic answer, as always. Well thought out. We've come to expect that. I would ask you, though, what do you think a union looks like in wrestling?
Why do you wrinkle your nose?
Because,
When
I
you
mean,
say that?
well, we don't do politics on here, but I think everybody knows my feelings on unions.
Well, let's not think of it as a bad thing. When I say union, I'm thinking, okay, like the Players Association. Do you know much about it?
No, I mean, other than they do have lawyers, they have collective bargaining, they have
Exactly.
fractional agreements that
Yes.
this is X, Y, and Z. And by the way, for every football player in the NFL, regardless of their name, rank, or serial number, all of these rules apply. No one is special. Nobody gets
Exactly.
and they try to hold Roger Goodell's overpaid ass accountable. But that is what it is. And he is paid a lot of money to be the head of the NFL. So,
So here's the thing. So I want to stick up for Wahoo McDaniel. Wahoo McDaniel was a very good friend of mine, and really is, the pivot point and the fucking conduit to why I got into the AWA. So just by one phone call. But again, he was an NFL player. And all of those years that he put in, they didn't get anything. And then right before he passed, they just passed that, or right around that time, I think he was fighting for it because they were just starting the Players Association. And now, quote me if I'm wrong, guys. When did the NFL Players Association start? When they started giving back to the players? It was right around Wahoo time, and I know that he wasn't getting it, and he was fighting for it. And then I think he was just start. I think he just started to get it or something right when he passed. So he could have used that money to help with all of his medical and everything that he went through. And so I mean that, let's just say it's $10,000 every quarter. To me, that's a lot of money. And at the end game, it's 40,000 a year. Do you know what that could do to half of these wrestlers that can't fucking walk, that loses a leg, that has, concussions, that's down and out? And I mean, it's just, I mean, my God, I would say half of them would probably be alive, maybe, be able to utilize that money and put themselves through programs where, others won't help them with. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe one half or the other, but I know it could have helped a lot of people.
Yeah, that I just looked it up real quick, Deuce. They initially organized it in 1956. Recognition and certification was 68 through 83. Collective bargaining is one of their biggest accomplishments, leading through strikes 74, 82. And then, of course, let's see, after that, you've got the different eras, Gene Upshaw, Maurice Smith, and Lloyd Howell, all leading that.
Pre-93, the players got nothing.
Yeah. So, and that's because it says he did lead the collective. This is Gene Upshaw. Collective bargaining of the 1993 was one of his greatest accomplishments.
God, you guys, I'm telling you. And then when did Wahoo pass? Because it was right around, I don't know. It was earlier than that, wasn't it?
I honestly don't know.
Anyway.
I do know that inside of Wahoo McDaniel passed on April 18th, 2002.
He died in 2002?
Mm-hmm. That's what Google says. He was born June 18th, 1938, and he died in Houston, Texas in 2002, April 18th.
Yeah. So I knew it was just right around when they started it and passed. So it was, oh my God, you guys, just to know that, finally, hey, they're getting something back. You know what? Can I tell you, as a sports entertainer, change is hard. But I embrace change because I'm weird, but because it's always challenged me to do better and face fear and probably hear the word no a lot. And I figure out different ways to do that, and I succeed. And I don't know how that is or possible or where I got that from, because I never had, parents to teach me that, or maybe it was my environment. I don't know, but it changes. Absolutely frightening. But I think that if we can change and continue to change in our business and in anybody's business, and grow and recognize the fact that let's just take sports entertainers, for instance. The amount of people that watch one game or one WrestleMania or one All In, and the money that comes in, and the rigorous schedule that they do to do this. But it's a choice. It's all of our choice. I get it. And everything else is put on hold, right? I just feel that knowing now the kids that are in it, I think the change that they should fight for is their future, if that makes sense. Meaning, here I am speaking about this and what I had to go through and what I would, yeah, it would be great to have what they have now, but it wasn't possible back then. But I work so hard and want to continue to go and make those changes for the past kids, because the kids today are going to be past. They're going to be history. And so if they don't fight for what I'm fighting for, they're not going to have that either. So it takes a village, right, to build this. And it's scary to change or to say union, because a lot of people think unions are fucking horrible or this or that. But this is one union that I feel that you fight for, just like the poor actors and actresses and the whole SAG. If you guys followed that or understood that, they're fighting, or we're fighting for something so dramatic that, I mean, I would want to protect. I don't do anything without my lawyer or contract anymore. And everything I say and what's in that contract, I protect all of my AI rights completely, in, storytelling and audiobooks and da 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 da. And that's another thing. My audiobook is out. We'll get to that. So, I mean, it just can go on and on. So I love the union and the whole SAG and what they represent. And it's kind of crooked over there, maybe. I don't know. But I know that when you're with SAG, because I was under SAG for a while, I mean, you get your insurance, you get this, you get that, you get your residual, if I can go on and on. Anyway, I just think that the kids today should be open and fight for what could be possible for them, what they don't have, because they're not going to have what I don't have if they don't fight for something that I've been fighting for forever. And just saying the word union would get your ass fired and off TV continuously. We've talked about a few people and how Hogan blocked somebody because he mentioned union. Fuck, he just wanted a better life. But it didn't matter. I don't know. I didn't have a conversation with Terry about this, but I'd love to sit down and ask Terry why he blocked that. When he was making millions and on top, what did it matter? So I don't know. I just want to know. I just would like to get in people's heads and just, what were you thinking? What are you thinking? If you got to fucking together, it wouldn't matter. But people are too scared and they don't have legs to stand on. They don't got a pot to piss in. So, okay. Thanks.
And now for something entirely different, brought to you by our buddy, Eddie Prather, who loves Mount Rushmore. I don't know what it is about these Mount Rushmore questions.
Fuck this front.
But Edward is always going to give us the Mount Rushmore question. This one's about music, though. So the question for Madusa, who would be on your Mount Rushmore of musicians or bands?
Oh, you guys. I mean, it's very hard because I have such a eclectic of music genre so it's just not fair. Can I tell you, in my brand new car that I got, and it's like a hybrid because I want to save money. I have the Sirius channel and I listen to 40s. Yeah, I don't know what it is because I feel like I'm connected and it's not even my fucking era. Maybe it's my mother's grandmother's. I don't know. It's my grandmother's fucking era. I don't know. But at 40s, I listen to 40s. And because I feel like if I was born, I should have been in the 40s. I would have rocked with my attitude in the 40s. That's how I feel. And I think that's why I really get along with a lot of the 40s music. Anyway. So, of course, Led Zeppelin fan. And I'm a very bluesy jazz girl. And I know this is crazy, but I love opera. I remember seeing Phantom of the Opera. I was wrestling for WWE and we were going through Canada, and it was like up in Vancouver area, I think. And Phantom of the Opera. And I went by myself. And I remember going to this and I just was bawling. Like I was crying. And Anyway, so I love classical, lots of it. And Richard Clayderman, the tenors. What else? Oh, there's like a bunch of others. Um, and then basically I am a just a hard rock, like not your fucking 40, top 40 shit. I mean, I was I mean, the old days, maybe Black Sabbath. I was but then again, I was a huge Janis Joplin fan, um, Prince fan. Golly, um, Jimi Hendrix. Holy shit. um, God, I mean, I never was that bubblegum girl. I don't know. Anyway, just yeah. Glenn Miller and Vera Lynn.
Yeah, I was gonna say people love music questions. Jason is in with Kiss.
That's my husband. He's a Kiss fan.
Says, I'm surprised it's not Hair Nation that you're listening to.
I mean, I have Hair Nation on my Sirius FM as well.
Dom coming in clutch with Dean Martin, Steely Dan, The Strokes, and Cat Stevens.
Oh, Clutch is really good. Clutch is amazing.
Tony Bennett.
Yeah, and Sinatra all the way, man. And Dean Martin. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's so cool. Mine's stuff like BB King. Like if you're talking favorites, BB King. I love Elton John, Sinatra, easily.
Yeah, right.
Nothing but the best. Favorite.
Now wasn't Dean Martin and Sinatra? No, didn't Marilyn Monroe, Dean Martin, and who was the other guy in movies together? Who was that? Oh my god! Because I mean.
Well, Sammy Davis, Sinatra.
Was it Sammy
Martin
and Marilyn Monroe?
That was the Rat Pack.
Well, yeah,
they called them.
Yeah, it was.
Dom will help me out. He loves that.
The reason why I said Marilyn Monroe is because she had a beautiful voice, and did you know her IQ was like 140, 150?
It's an unfortunate, tragic death. Sammy Davis, the Rat Pack. I was correct. Thank you, Dom. But the no, I mean, like you said, and I know Dom is the same way, and it sounds like your fans here are the same way. Music through the roof. Everybody, everybody can get into music depending. Well, you mentioned Led Zeppelin and Ozzy. My hard rock go-to, because I don't like the screamy stuff, is Metallica, because you can never run out of songs no matter what you're doing. So if I'm at the gym and I want to rock music, it's Metallica.
Well, there's a band called Monster Truck. It is fucking badass.
Is it metal rage? Is it like some rage music?
Rage, but they're really good. They're out of Canada. But the lead singer just left and I'm pissed off at him. So
well, fuck him then. Next question. Dominic and I are getting together, Liam. We'll find out when we get a trucker hat for Deuce here.
Yes, I'm a trucker hat girl, big time.
She loves them. I told you, I can't keep from playing with it.
Maybe if we have like an elastic band around them.
7 5/8 is the hat size, guys. It's difficult.
Well, damn, you and JBL got the biggest heads I know in this business.
The biggest heads. This one's from CB. Madusa, my cousin went to meet and greet, and one of the wrestlers asked her if he could suck her toes. How would you have handled a fan or one of the boys doing that back in the day?
What, so asking me the question or actually sucking my toes? If it would
be okay for you to suck their toes or whatever, yeah. This is what we do on this show.
What the fuck kind of question is that?
Well, he said that the guy, his cousin, actually at a meet and greet, a wrestler asked somebody for this.
I did, and I said, what kind of fucking question is that? Like, what in the fuck? I go, have you seen my toes? No, you can fucking suck on my toes.
Oh, God, I love you for that. Oh,
God damn.
That is fantastic.
I'd make sure I got fungus underneath my toenail and have you fucking suck it.
Oh, my goodness. So we've got, let's see, hold on. Oh, here's one from Eric Healy. We're going to put Eric up on the screen here. He said, I started watching you wrestle in the AWA territory and beating up all the ladies, including Candy Divine. Eric, we also appreciate the Ric Flair gimmick you have going, where you capitalize the first letter of each word, even if it is unnecessary. So, Deuce, talk to us about the AWA beating up Candy Divine. What were you doing to poor Candy?
I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't?
I wasn't. I was trying to wrestle because it's like, if you watched any of those matches in AWA, it's like nobody could fucking wrestle. The only one that could, brawl was Sherry. And then, some of the vets that they threw at me. And I mean, a lot of those fucking women just couldn't wrestle. I mean, bless her heart. I think they just hired her on the side one time and she just started to wrestle. Her and Sherry had some brawls and a sweet lady and everything, which I think she just passed away a couple years ago. Her and I always got along, but I just did what they told me to do. That's it.
Well, that's good. But you were also, if memory serves, and we'll do some AWA talk in the future. If memory serves me correctly, you were brought in to replace Sherry.
Well, I was, yes, and that's the call I got from Wahoo. Yeah, and she got word, and she basically, told me and to go pound sand, and she wasn't ever going to drop the title to me. And she didn't. She fucking hauled ass and went to WWF.
And arguably, no offense to AWA and Vern and Greg and all of the rest there. I mean, you had a fantastic crew. Because you were in AWA 84, is that right?
I don't know.
Or was it a little
85? Yeah, 87, 86, 87.
So by the time you got there, they had already started raiding. Hogan was gone. Mean Gene was gone.
Yep.
Bockwinkel was all but retired if he wasn't. Stevens was done. Heenan was gone. But that was one thing Vince successfully did, was pick top talent from all of the territories. Yes. AWA was no exception. I mean, he got Hulk, for Pete's sake. And whether you like him or not, and our chat has opinions, we have opinions. When Vince McMahon decided in December of 1983 that Terry Bollea was the guy, he made him the guy. You can't have one without the other. They are, a paired item. It is the chicken and the egg. Would Vince have been successful without Hogan, or would Hogan been successful without Vince? Not to the degree they both enjoyed, I don't think, Madusa.
I think it was perfect seasoning. It's just one of those things that happened, and it happened well. It was a crapshoot. Vince didn't know how it was going to go, but he put everything in them and, and seasoned the situation, and they built it together. It worked. He had a vision. WWE wouldn't be what it is today without Vince, period, like it or not.
Yeah, and I think that, what they're doing now, of course, I'm a Triple H guy, that from a wrestling creative standpoint. Never worked with the man. Don't know what he's like behind the scenes and all that. But from what I see on my television for the last couple of years in professional wrestling, I enjoy what he's doing. They're going
to Berlin. Is it rumor that Shawn Michaels is going to be going or retiring and CM Punk's going to take his place?
God, I hope not. Don't start with me today.
Oh, okay.
We had 2.5 hours on CM Punk.
I mean, CM Punk would be great, wouldn't it?
Well, I hope Drew McIntyre whoops his ass Saturday in Berlin.
Whatever.
Now that's another thing. And I've got a few questions. Guys, get your questions in, but me and Madusa basically just catching up on things. Berlin, following England. Obviously, these companies have figured out how important the international market is.
Oh, they're going to start doing everything international. Now, here comes the WrestleManias international. Here comes, hell yeah.
Do you believe that? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you, obviously, you wrestled in Japan. How much exposure did you have to Europe?
What do you mean?
How much did you wrestle in Europe?
Well, in WWF at the time, they would season me with the girls to do matches, and then when there was something big back in the States, that we would have our pay-per-view with the girls then here.
I got you. I made a
Yeah.
mistake too. Got to take Eric's comment down. Anyway, that was my fault. The sorry about the distraction there, folks. No, so I wondered because there's obviously a very different Japanese presentation. People have sometimes said that the audience feels like they're sitting on their hands because they're so respectful and they're watching, and versus what we saw at Backlash in France or we saw in Scotland for Clash at the Castle, what I anticipate we'll see in Germany this Saturday. I think the crowd's going to be raucous, Madusa. And I think, and you are the expert, not me, you can answer this. I think that you only see more and more international programming from here on out.
Oh my God, the roof's going to be blown down and every wall around Berlin or Germany is going to come down when they do. I mean, they're going to be excited over there. And I feel that there's going to be a lot more international. It would be great to start taking, every other pay-per-view maybe over, to an international event. I mean, because it's so saturated over here. We've had it here for so long. Start bringing it international now. Absolutely.
Well, and I say it any chance I get, and I know you and I've talked about it on this show and off of this show. WWE is now owned by a multinational billion-dollar company, and itself is a multinational billion-dollar company. So they're getting ready to take SmackDown to USA. They're getting ready to take Raw to Netflix. There's a lot of big changes in WWE right now, and hopefully you will be the beneficiary of some of those changes, ma'am.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you always want a payday and a booking, don't you? Hopefully you'll be the beneficiary.
Yeah. Okay, I got that. But it would be nice to be involved in some capacity, not just a residual paycheck. I get it. That'd be nice. But again, if I still have the love for the sport and you're willing to work, I mean, I think that, there's some place for a veteran that is interested in that can help something somewhere along the line. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this card, they got Gunther versus Randy Orton. I've never asked you. Randy Orton's been in the business at this point 23 years.
Good Lord. Yeah, what great comebacks he always gets, right?
Well, look how big he is now. 285 pounds. He's as big as he's ever been. He's as big
what
as
do you think he's eating?
A lot. And maybe he's got some enhancement going on with it too. I don't know. I said that, not Madusa. But what do you think? You've seen the ring general Gunther. You've seen the way he brings an old school style to the ring. What do you think about him and Randy Orton as dance partners?
Wow. Well, I like it because they're not two of the same, right? I don't think so. One has a complete different aura than the other. I will tell you about Gunther. The mystique about him is money in the bank. And Orton, you know what you're getting, right? So either something's got to pull out of Orton's fucking bag to go, wow, holy shit. Yeah. But Gunther is mystically unpredictable, I think. I do. There's something about him like he reminds me of Sid, doesn't he? Don't you think? His aura when he walks in?
So Gunther, to me, has to your point, a very distinct presence. He's got this confidence about him. He's not going to do fist bumps walking out Madison Square Garden to take the title from Shawn Michaels. What he is going to do is he's going to walk to the ring. He's going to do his, iron jaw, stance and scowl. And then he's going to be a kick-ass heel because he's not a chicken shit. Gunther is not booked as a chicken shit heel. He is booked as a legitimate, tough guy wrestler. And I think he's got a chance to become recognized as one of the best in the world. But it starts with the presence that you're talking about. When he comes out in Berlin Saturday,
oh
that
my God,
going to go bananas. I mean, 100% bananas for
And
Gunther.
you don't have to do much. He just walks. You know what I mean? He just walks out there. And he's that money, that aura. He's the real CEO. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. To me, Gunther is money. To me, he's one of the best workers in the world, and he's in rarefied air. But it's his first title defense, and who better to legitimize yourself than defeating the 14-time world champion Randy Orton? Pretty good pedigree. And then Orton's going to turn on Cody later in the night. That's my prediction. But let's get to Jeff's detecting channel. Jeff wants to know if you've got any good Rick Rude stories, and I know you do. So, Rick Rude,
I'm just gonna stick with toes.
Don't stick with toes.
I'm gonna stick with toes because somebody wants to suck my toes. So, anyway, we're gonna go to the road story of the one that was in my book, guys. You got to get my book because
available on Amazon.
You got to get this book. I'll do a signing on my website. You guys.
There you go.
Anyway, speaking of such, I got something to show you. So, it was Rick Rude, Paul Heyman, and myself, and he would make Paul drive. It had to be a huge caddy, Continental gimmick is all they rented back then. And I'd have to sit up in front, and Rick got the whole back seat, lock the doors and windows, and he'd be in the back. Deuce. And I fucking didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I didn't do it. And I'm choking. I'm getting a residual high. I tried rolling down the window, and that bitch is like, he's like, Paulie, you locked them windows. And my feet would come up on the dash. And I have size 10 feet. I'm 5'10", so I got big ass fucking feet. And I have 5'10" feet. And my toes are long. Okay. And my feet would be up there, and he'd be like, Deucey, some long fucking toes you got there. What do you fucking play the piano, Deucey? God damn. And I'm like, really? Really, Rick? That's it. You just getting high and talking about my fucking toes. And it would be shits on from that. I mean, it's on from that point on. And we haven't even pulled out of the parking lot yet. Oh my God. Yeah. So that's one Rick story.
That is fantastic. And I know you've got more Rick Rude stories. We're going to do a deep dive at some point on Rick Rude because Madusa doesn't have a choice. Some jerk produces this show. I heard he's a level 5 bitch. But anyway, Jeff Redondo's question, John Redondo, excuse me, question Madusa, if you can have a retirement tour, WWE, AEW, or TNA, what wrestlers will you choose to face? My choice, so this is his choice, who would be Charlotte as your final match, Mariah May in AEW, and Toni Storm as well. So, you get to pick. You get to set the table for your retirement, Madusa. Who is Deucey, as you let Rick Rude call you, wrestling?
Well, I definitely would like a combination and do a really good match with Beth Phoenix. And that would be a good retirement match with her too. I would say, and have Natty involved because there's just so much, there's reasonings there. If you read my book, you probably put it together. So that Toni Storm is excellent. Absolutely. I would love to have a match with either Io, Asuka, or fucking pirate. Why can't I think of her name? The other Japanese, a Japanese girl.
Kairi Sane.
Kairi, yeah, Kairi Sane. So and there's reasoning. If you all are following me, it's my history, and there's a great story about Beth. Beth would be able to carry, if I were to knock myself out, she'd be able to carry the match to the finish. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, Charlotte would be great. I mean, because there's so much comparison. I mean, there's a lot there. But then, you know, people that know the ring, you know, you got to think about their talent and why it would be good. There's a lot of great, I mean, there's Mexican wrestlers that would be phenomenal. There would be, I mean, Serena Deeb has got to be, she's an excellent wrestler. My God. I mean, could you imagine the matches that Jazz and I could have had? You know what I'm saying? Jazz was a powerhouse. Or what about Lisa Marie? She was, I mean, one to reckon with over there. She's the one that carried the weight over there. There was a few of them, her and Jazz. There's a lot that I'm leaving out, but the ones I'd feel comfortable and that probably could have a damn good match. Absolutely.
I want to see you and Mommy.
A lot of people say Rhea as well.
And I
people would shit themselves between Rhea and I. Yeah.
Physically, like you said, you're 5'10", she's 6'1".
Oh, and it would be so good too. I mean, her height, my height, but she's fucking jacked, dude.
Oh, she's legit 200 pounds. That is not a
solid.
criticism of a woman's size. She is 200 pounds, and she is a bad bitch. I don't know that she's a level 5 bitch like we are, Deuce, but she is bad. And I'm all for it. I think poor Liv's going to have her work cut out for her in Germany.
Yeah.
It looks like they're doing the mixed tag gimmick, Damien and Rhea versus Liv and Dom. So before they get to Balor. But anyway, let's see here. Heza Machine, and if I pronounce that wrong, my man or my woman, I'm sorry. Madusa, do you know the reason why Debbie Combs was pulled from the WrestleMania 10 match?
Well, at the end of the day, that'd be a question for Deb. And I'm not sure why she pulled out. And I don't have the exact answer. I have speculation. But that would be a fair question just to ask Deb why she said no. And I don't understand because it would have put her on the map, you know, even though she had to do a job. And I think maybe that could have been it. You know what I mean? Because Deb was around a lot longer than I was, and probably a hell of a lot better wrestler than I was at that point. Maybe not. I don't know. I was back from Japan then, but I don't know. I don't know why she said no or pulled out. And that's when they asked Leilani Kai to do it. And Leilani Kai almost didn't do it because she couldn't stand Moolah at that moment. So, oh yeah, that's a great question. Very good question. And it's unfortunate for Deb.
Let me ask a follow-up to this. What did you think about Leilani Kai working with her in the latter stages of her career? Obviously, big important star in the 80s. In the 90s, we saw you work in WWF, WCW a little bit, but she was in the twilight of her career, and quite frankly, women just weren't used in the same way they are today. Right. What did you think of Leilani Kai and her abilities in the ring and how you guys danced together, you know, inside the squared circle?
There wouldn't be any Madusa or Lunder Blaze if it wasn't for Leilani. Period. She carried my ass on several matches. And that woman I owe a lot to. And she's done a lot for many, many women. And she's had the 3 count on her for many matches and to get other women over. There's one woman that never got her fucking flowers, man. And it pisses me off while they're not in the WWE Hall of Fame this day. There's no reason why the Glamour Girls are not in the Hall of Fame. Shame on the WWE. Fucking shame on them. That's how I just, it's disgusting. I don't. I don't understand. I mean, didn't they help make WrestleMania what it is today? You know?
Glamour Girls, Jumping Bomb
They
Angel, you
those
know.
yeah, hello, don't
Yeah.
forget where you came from.
Yeah, we're not fans of Moolah, but whatever. We get into her later. But this is good because I have an idea about Leilani Kai now. So thank you.
Mm.
Next question from Milos Mods. He says, "I've got a question. What are your thoughts on Miss Elizabeth's death? Do you think Lex Luger was involved intentionally or unintentionally?" Now, let's just set this before Madusa answers. Obviously, Luger had his drug addictions. He has since repented, found God, born again Christian, working with people to save them and bring them to Jesus Christ. So let's put that out there. But here, he was a drug addict. So Madusa, do you think he was intentionally or unintentionally involved in Liz's death?
I wasn't there that night, but Liz and I were friends, and how do you answer this? We're adults, and we can say yes or no, and we control our own destiny by our first decision. So, though some situations are hard and difficult, and some may feel trapped due to a situation resulting in other things by other people's actions, I feel that a higher road could have been taken in this situation, and things could have been different.
Yeah, it's a fair answer. I mean, knowing that pain pills and prescription drugs and that sort of thing were involved, people are not who they are when they're on those sort of things, be that alcohol, illicit drugs, prescription drugs. They're not there. I mean, it brings out the worst aspects of their humanity, unfortunately, one way or the other.
Yeah, I guess, but also she did have black eyes once in a while. So there's that.
Well, and there was, not criticizing Miss Elizabeth because she is deceased, but there is also the seemingly, and I wasn't there, emotional abuse that Savage put on her, maybe even physical at times, from the protectiveness, the overprotectiveness, the accusations, and all of that sort of thing, when they were married and they were working together. So, but locking her in closets and keeping her away from people and all that sort of thing, isolating her, unfortunately. Hopefully she didn't relive that with Lex, but again, she's deceased and it's unfortunate.
Maybe that's a question for Lex,
And it might be, and I don't know how he does his show with Conrad, of course, on ad-free shows. I don't know that they would ever even talk about it, to be quite frank, Madusa. I don't know. Anyway, there was a great question here, but I have to get past all the music comments because our people are chewing up the chat. Good for you guys. It's the Mad Mods. Here you go. Question: how many wolves has Madusa owned in her life?
I love my Mad Mods. Well, at one time I had 18 wolves, and I would take wolves in from people that thought that they could own them as pets. And I had a wolf sanctuary, so I'd have puppies to full-grown wolves, and yeah, and I would say up to 18 at one time. And I had two hybrids. Was it Glacier and Stroker, and Spook, and we had them in the pen and didn't get them fixed fast enough. So they ended up having pups, which sucked. But so I raised them in the house, and they were just like regular, pups to us. But they would stay out in the den with the other wolves, definitely. It was a whole different life. I mean, my God, those wolves ran my life. They for me to be, I was alpha. There wasn't really anybody. It's like if you had a parrot, there's only one person for the parrot, and you're alpha with the parrot. And with the wolves too. So for me to get acclimated with them and vice versa, I would go out in the back 5 acres. They had their own running water. They would dig their own dens, and they had different cages to separate the new ones from the older ones. And they you'd keep the new ones that would come in from being rescued. That way they could come up to the pen, and they would sniff each other for about a week, and then you slowly implement them together, so they don't gang up and fight. And oh my God, and alpha is not good. So I would go out there when there'd be a new set coming in, and I would put a tent out there, and I'd leave the tent open, and they would come in, and I couldn't wear a hat or sunglasses. They would have to, and I would just sit there, and they would come up and sniff me and, knock my hair or something, and they'd get playful. And if they'd come and fall and kind of roll on their back, then it was good. And I would just kind of sit there. And yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. And then they found out, they would know that I was alpha. Yeah, but you would never turn your back on one. You'd always keep them in your view, knowing where they were at. It was great. I mean, in my book, there's pictures of the wolves. You guys, in this book, there's a story about the wolves, and whoever asked that question, that's a great story. I mean, it's a great question. Or the mods. That was my fucking mods.
Yeah.
So they already have my book. So what are you asking me that damn question for, you a-holes? There they are. So you can't see them, but that's Glacier. And Glacier had her pups there. She only had 3. And that's Cheyenne and Freddie. But and I used to train lions and tigers and stuff too. So anyway, there's that.
So are wolves, because I have not read this chapter, don't yell at me. Are wolves genuinely pack animals though? And
yes.
did they naturally go to each other and that sort of thing?
So it was really amazing when they ate. So I'd get a carcass, and I would throw over a deer carcass, and you could not go in there. Like I couldn't go in there for like a week, because what would happen is the alpha would do pecking order, alpha, second, blah, blah, blah. And then they would when they're done eating, they would let others come in and eat, and then the babies and whatnot. So we asked Madusa because we could, because we like to hear her talk about. Oh, okay. Well, I love you guys. I'm only kidding, that. But yeah, so it'd be they're in packs, and it was really amazing. They would follow the same path. They wouldn't just run off like dogs and just go off in different areas. These wolves from like the back 40, when I say back 40, like 5 acres, they would be in the back, and the grass would be really tall, and they'd watch between the grass. But when they'd come to the front of the fence, if they saw me, all of them would follow the same path, and they would have paths coming from different angles, and they would follow it out, and they would follow it in. And it was like it would turn to sand because of the same path that they would take. It was incredible. Incredible.
My 4 dogs actually do that, believe it or not. They have a path where they walk from the back of the yard to the front of the house, and so
probably because you don't mow the yard or something.
No, I did that today, ma'am. Thank you. I was just curious though. I was just curious that about the wolves, because I mean, obviously they're pack animals. They're violent. To your point, don't turn your back on them. They're not domesticated dogs. So we'll have to dig deeper into this. I am very interested interested in the fact that
You
she
would have
plays
loved
wolf.
the whole eating frenzy. Oh my god. And the food and
Dear
like
carcass. See ya. We'll see you all next week.
yeah, bye. And so what happened was is that I have a $40,000 fencing still in the back from the wolves. Because the last one out, I mean, aged out, and I just said I'm done after that. You know, it's like 18 years of fucking wolves, you know. I'm like, and I traveled this whole time, right? So yeah, so there's a lot about eating. So I remember I had to get 9 gauge fencing. So there's six, you know, 6 4 gauge, 6 9. 9 is like your chain link fence, but it's fucking thick because wolves and dogs, they can chew right through, fencing after a while. And but I had to get 9 gauge fencing and it had to be 6 feet high. Okay. So I got 9 gauge fencing 6 feet high. Well, everything was fine for a couple weeks. Then all of a sudden I started getting phone calls when I was on the road. And they're like, hey, Miss Michelli, your wolves are out and you've got a lot of stickies on your door. I think they're tickets from the wildlife. I'm like, what? Well, I guess the wolves were getting out, and I'll tell you how in a second. They were getting out and they were stealing, like I live in the middle of nowhere, and they would go down and they would steal this woman's, of course, they would eat them, take them back to the pack, and they would steal this woman's prize geese. And they'd bring all the geese back. So, and I guess they would get back in and give them to the pack, right? I'm like, what the fuck? I had all these stickers like $200 fine, 100, the $1,000 fine. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I couldn't figure out how they were getting out. Well, I figured out that they're den diggers, so they would dig. So I went and bought more fencing. I bought 4 feet of 9 gauge fencing, 4 feet. And I put it, say the fence is like this, and I put it on the bottom and it went this way. So it was put together. That way, when they walked up to the fencing, they'd feel the fence and they wouldn't dig. Okay, that stopped them for another couple months. And then all of a sudden, I started getting calls that they were getting out again. And I'm like, what the hell? Well, they figured out they went to the corner of the fence and they walked up the corner of the fence and they started getting out again. I'm like, are you shitting me? So another, $10,000 for the bottom fencing and blah, blah, blah. Now they're walking up the corner and jumping out. So then I had to get more fencing and get a 45-degree inlay of another fucking all the way around. I'm like, Jesus, right? These guys are expensive. Then it stopped. I couldn't get out, but they started getting they're like, Miss Michelli, they're on my farmland and they just got baby calves. They're like dragging fucking cows and shit. And I was like, oh my God. So I was like, all right, finally, after all of that fencing, it quit. And then I don't know about, God, when did Glacier pass? Or whatever, 18. I don't know.
Yeah, we're
Many
definitely
years
talking
ago.
about this because I want to know how you ended up licensed and all this stuff for this. So this will be great. We have just a few more questions and then we're going to wrap it up, Deuce.
Okay, good.
We've got one from CB. He asked the weird toe question about the guy that his cousin saw asked that question. Don't do that, fans. Let's just put that out there. Don't do that at conventions. But anyway, CB wants to know, do you think Hulk wishes he had used a different finish because of the damage that leg drop did to his back? As of today, 12, I believe it is, surgeries to his back, Madusa.
I don't know. Do we ever know? I mean, it made him who he is today, right? Maybe would he have had an alternative one as well? Or, I don't know. It's hard to, would I have chose the German suplex and saved all of my neck problems? I don't know. There's not one woman that does it. So till this day, there's not a woman that does the German suplex the correct way as a finish. So it's devastating. So I don't know. It made him who he is today. So coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, because as I joked earlier, everybody knows it was 3 punches to the big boot and a leg drop.
Exactly.
But you knew this was the big moment, and
Yes.
it was like it conditioned fans that we're ready to pop now because Hulk's about to win. Jason has a question for you tonight. How was the feeling when WWF said you were the one, when sadly there wasn't much competition in the States? So I think he's saying you were anointed, you're the face of the women's division, but there's no competition. And he says, I bet it was frustrating after all the great matches you had with then Judy Martin at 45.
What do you mean? What? And then, you mean in WWF?
I think so. After all the great matches you had then, Judy Martin at 45. Maybe Judy Martin was 45. I don't know. But the premise I think Jason's trying to get to is you're the face of WWF's women division, WCW's women division even, but there was nobody for you to wrestle till they brought in Bull or Aja, or you worked with Bertha Faye in 95. How did you navigate that, knowing that you were supposed to be the champ, but you didn't have anybody to work with?
Well, we tried to. I mean, we picked women intermittently. There was talent out there. It's just that it wasn't well written for the women. And then when they did, you got to look back. Look at it. They did great for women. I mean, as far as look at my storyline with Bertha Faye and how long it took and with her and Wimpleman. I thought it was fucking awesome. And then, the storyline with Bull. I mean, at least it didn't last, just 3 seconds and 5 and 1 month. At least there was longevity in those. And with Luna, so I mean, there was, some women, but at least we milked it. And we could have done better. We used to, I would say like there wasn't any women, but there was. It could have been utilized better. Absolutely.
Yeah, because we still at this time are calling it women plus midgets on the card. I mean, even in the
and
90s,
we weren't mentioned. Our names weren't mentioned that often, if any. It was always Ann Moore.
Yeah.
Back then.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
you're always at L or whatever. You're always just an afterthought or whatever. So let's see. We've got one last question, and he's from one of our traveling champs here at One True Sport. It's Matty, Mr. Marijuana. We've seen him in multiple chats. He loves RVD. Shocker. This one is a question. He says, has Madusa been to Australia? And it says no about dingus. He doesn't mean that, Madusa.
Dingo,
It was a typo.
yes.
He meant dingoes.
Dingoes, yes.
What about dingoes?
Hi, Daisy. Well, dingoes are I think they're a little more aggressive, and they're smaller than wolves. And there's a lot more of them out there. Hi. Come here, Daisy. Daisy, come here. Here's my little dingo. There's Daisy. Hello. You say hi, or hair's a mess. This is Daisy. This is my little wolf. She's a poodle. Her hair's all fallen. She's stuck in the 80s because I love the 80s rock. Hi. I love you. Are you a dingo? Are you a dingo? You're not a dingo. Are you a wolf? I love you. Okay. But no,
she's a princess telling mama it's bedtime.
How did you know? She was barking. She was barking out there earlier. This is about the time she lets me know. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, Australia's great. I feel like they're a little slower than the States, and yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's all right.
Awesome. But did you have any good fun trips in Australia?
Oh, I had quite a bit, especially in monster trucks. Monster trucks were the huge, where I was really big in monster trucks in Australia. Yeah, that's a whole nother episode. Yeah,
I will say we will follow up with that.
Oh,
because
yeah.
We are going to get to your monster trucks. I want to thank.
Yeah, you got to remind me too, the incident about Hot Wheels and how they told me about my truck being pink and how they would never sell, a woman's pink trunk would never sell in Hot Wheels because they won't be bought. And I just took pictures of all these new Hot Wheels monster trucks that are pink. And I'm like, there I was paving the way, pushing the fucking envelope, telling it would. And here they are doing it. So
they did it again, didn't they? Well, this was our first Ask Deuce Anything. Next next time. I don't know when will be a next time in terms of Ask Deuce, but keep thinking about questions to ask her. Join us twice a month here on One True Sport as we talk paving the way. We also do a pop-up show called Trash Talk, and we do that exclusively on Madusa's channel. We record it and then we put it out. So just happens to be hot topics, business, that sort of thing. Madusa's book, The Woman Who Would Be King, is available on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, I got to show you what else is available.
She's getting something else. And while she's doing that, remember, One True Sport is your home of the Four Horsemen Network. Four Horsemen officially merchandised, which I'm wearing today, one of orange shirts instead of Deuce's shirt. You can also get Madusa's shirt that says Trailblazer 1984 on the front and on the back. Nice to meet you. Don't fuck with me. Thank you.
All right. So this
Madusa
just came out. This just came out.
There it is.
There it is.
Mattel,
I just got it
right?
in the mail.
That's your Mattel box, isn't it? Yep. The official pack, the retro.
Yes.
Live here on Paving the Way, guys. This is what we're talking about. So
unboxed, not even open yet.
So let's see. You've got who's you're featured with? Shawn Michaels. Is it Shawn Michaels?
Of course, I'm with Shawn again. You'd think we had a love affair or something.
Well, he did have some sunny days back then, but I don't know that.
Then it was cloudy with me because it.
I say I don't know that he was MAD USA, made in the USA.
Nope, he was not made in the USA.
So who do we have?
Look, they have
British Bulldog, Alundra Blaze, and Shawn
Yankum, baby.
The mayor, baby, Kane, rather.
Yes.
The mayor, Kane of Knox County, Tennessee.
Oh, speaking of politics, what do you think about JFK endorsing Trump?
My God, I'm glad I don't have to listen to him give a speech all the time now that he's off the ticket.
Oh my God. Why
it's his
not?
voice. I swear to God, it's just his voice. It's so gravelly. He sounds like he's had multiple.
But he has that medical problem. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a serious issue. In all seriousness, I think it just added fuel to the already very hot dumpster fire that we call the American government. So,
really, I love what he stands for and how he preaches and loves how he wants a better FDA, like all of our food issues. Like, I mean, he's we don't get into politics on this show. What I'm saying is it's just making it, far more combative in this country. Policy wise, I'm probably closer to him than anybody else. Yes, his policies are fucking amazing.
Because, like you said, the food, we put junk in our food, and you made
no other country allows it like our country. Jeez.
You made fun of my Prime addiction, but this is not Prime. This is actually one of those little.
I don't even know why you're drinking Prime. You're gonna shit's shit. Prime is
because I support Logan Paul on this program.
You can support Logan, but not Prime. Ew.
And that'll get me canceled sometimes because he puts his foot in his mouth. Thank you, Mr. Paul. Apparently, his dog fell off the boat, and he went and rescued the dog, but he pushed the dog and all this other stuff.
What?
And I'm like, oh yeah, there was this video on Twitter of where he had his dog with him. The dog fell off the boat.
Yeah,
but the dog didn't. Looks like the dog didn't fall off the boat. It looks like he helped the dog fall off the boat, and then he rescued the dog. And people were roasting the hell out of him. I just think it's all unnecessary when you already have 23 million YouTube subscribers. What the hell are you doing if that's the case? But
because he don't give a fuck.
That's pretty much it. That is 100% it.
I have a great picture of him and I think.
You of Logan?
I think so. Doesn't he wrestle?
Yeah, allegedly. And speaking of dogs, here come mine. They went to the vet today and they had a bath. Oh, here she comes, that fat thing.
Oh, is that all your dogs?
Yeah, that's the dogs barking. It's the running of the bulldogs. She's 11, so she gets to, I don't bathe her and I don't primp her nails. She has a spa day because she's rotten. That's all that is. And
you need a spa day. You need a spa day.
I thought we were wrapping this up.
Do you get your toes done? Do you get your toes done?
God, no. I do. You talk.
Why don't you get a pedicure?
You talk. I should, because you talk about feet.
Let me see your toes. Put your feet up.
No, let's not do that.
Put your fucking foot up here. Don't make me shove my foot up your ass. Put your toes up.
Look, lady, we're trying to get listeners and watchers. We're not trying to run them all off with my.
I'll put my toes up if you put yours up.
That's a no.
Hey, everybody that love my feet. Okay, I'm just letting you know. then I'm willing. This is just like debating on ABC or fucking Fox. I'm willing to go up and show my toes, but you're not.
I have an accent. Thank you, Maddie. I honestly don't know.
What do you? Let's put your feet up.
No, we are not doing that.
Oh no, we're fucking
we were getting in and
Before I
out
even
early.
do another episode with you, no, we're gonna let's do a petition, everyone. We need to see his. He needs to show his toes.
Not happening. I guess this is our last episode of Paving the Way.
Yep. No, toes. No, let's see. Come on. Let's see who's man here.
Not happening.
Okay, one toe.
Nope.
Get your fucking foot up.
One finger.
Well, you know where you can stick that.
More than once.
Yeah. Without lube.
Oh God, stop it. In all seriousness, thank you all very much.
Do you have shoes on right now?
Huh?
Do you have shoes on right now?
Yes.
Well, kick them off.
Socks. No.
Kick them off. Take your sock off. You're a fucking pussy. You're a
I am
pussy.
a level 5 bitch that knows
You're a
better.
level 5 pussy. Take off your shoe. You fucking dried up fucking whole bag pussy.
Oh
Put up
my
your foot.
God. Yeah, it's dry all right. Damn. Get ghosted by somebody. Next. So next time we're gonna be here is in September.
No, put up your toes. Let me see your foot.
We are planning on something. It is not going to involve feet. Madusa, you can go to onlyfeet.com and put hers on there.
There, Maddie's got his marijuana toes up. Let's go.
Got his feet up. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So anyway, we'll be back in September, guys.
Okay, then moon us or something. I don't know. Let me see your toes. Let me see your put up your foot. But if you want to do this, and you'll put up your foot.
I'm thinking
we could do it. Do it.
We could do rude. We could do motorcycles. We are not going to do feet because I produce this show.
Okay. All right. But I am here doing the show. So put up your foot.
No.
Why? What does it look like? Is it scaly?
It's calloused. They're broken. My nails are ugly.
Wow.
I broke my foot.
Dude, do you wear flip-flops then?
No. I broke my foot 4 different times. I broke both of my ankles over 4 times. Broke twice, sprained 3 or 4 times. I was an interior defensive lineman and offensive lineman, and I got pounded on my feet a lot. They are ugly as sin, and no, you're not seeing them. So, anyway.
So you wouldn't let anyone suck your toes then?
Fuck no. No, like, when it's sexy time, the socks stay on. Fuck that noise, okay?
Oh, you're one of those. You leave your
I am one of those. On. I'll turn the lights off, but the socks are staying on. Get it.
Oh, my God. Everybody, you heard it here. Oh, my God. That is disgusting. Oh, I leave my socks
clean
on.
Socks. I mean, it's
not
like
are they the little bobby socks that like can little pull up halfway through your fucking little calf?
Yeah, they're the low cut, not the no shows.
Oh,
and that's what he said. Anyway,
okay, then put your foot up with the sock.
No, we'll see you all next time here.
This is
on
such bullshit. No, you won't see me until he puts his fucking foot up. It'll be like this.
Then 0. It's gonna be like that, guys. No. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.